Today we are going to talk about the National Front. It's a historical event that occurs from the bipartisan violence and disagreement that exists between liberals and conservatives. One of the liberal leaders, kidnappings, murders, and violence are on the rise, which is the reason why years later a political agreement called the National Front was generated, which sought to end the fighting in all the areas that made up Colombia. This agreement managed to end the area named La Violencia.
There was a political coalition established in 1958 between the liberal group and the conservative group of the Republic of Colombia, in response to the arrival of the military dictatorship in 1953, its consolidation in power between 1954 and 1956, and after a decade of high rates of violence and radical political confrontation. The representatives of both groups, Alberto Lleras Camargo, Liberal Group, and Laureano Gómez Castro, Conservative Group, met to discuss the need for a pact between both groups to restore the presence in power of bipartisanship.
Bogotazo. The liberal leader Jorge Eliezer Gaitán was murdered, causing a lot of chaos and protests all around the city. The party violence and killing important leaders weren't something new for Colombian people, but since that political confrontation, violence stepped into another level. July 24, 1956. The Benidorm Agreement is signed between the liberal Alberto Lleras Camargo and the conservative Laureano Gómez, so that the National Front can start being developed. 1958. National Front. Political agreement between liberals and conservatives start to accomplish with the start of Alberto Lleras Camargo's period. He was a liberal. 1962. Guillermo León Valencia's period started. He was a conservative. 1966. Carlos Lleras Restrepo's period started. He was a liberal. 1970. Misael Pastrana Borrero's period started. He was a conservative. 1974. The elections were again as they used to be, finishing completely the National Front Agreement.
This agreement changed the history of Colombia, but what could have happened if the National Front hadn't made an agreement?